welcome back to my channel. Thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is tolulopesolutions, and in today's video I'm going to be answering some of the questions that you guys have asked me on Instagram regarding my breastfeeding journey. So my baby is like a week and a half short of 2 months, and I have pumped so much milk while also breastfeeding him as well. I feel like milk machine is like my second name right now. I can't even lie. I'm so thankful to God for that. And I just want to say a couple of things before I jump right into the questions. The first thing is, I feel like the decision to breastfeed is a very personal one for every mom. So if you've made the decision not to exclusively breastfeed your child, then that doesn't make you a bad mom. I mean, there's so many other ways that we come in for these children, and just this one factor doesn't make you a bad mom. Now, having said that, is also a no-brainer that breastfeeding is very good for children between the ages of 0 to 6 months. You know, they get all the immunity from the mom and stuff like that. So this is also like an encouragement. I did it for my first, I'm doing it now for my second. And if you're blessed, especially if you're blessed with the milk of the breast, then I just want to encourage you. It's a tough journey. It gets easier with time, but it's worth it. Secondly, I also know that there are people who really desire to breastfeed, but they are unable to. Low milk supply, you know, baby not latching, and so many other issues around breastfeeding, and they end up not being able to. Please, fed is best. Gone are the days they used to say breast is best. Fed is best. If you've tried your best and you see that the child is not gaining weight, still not, you know, getting all they should get in terms of nutrients, please supplement with formula. There is nothing wrong with formula. My mom would always joke and say that I'm just lucky that me and my sisters all took formula, and look at us today, we're fine. So I mean, that's just to say that fed is best. Just hoping and praying that, you know, the formula would sit well with your child. You'll be able to find what works for them in terms of the formula choice and all of that. Quickly, and thirdly, I feel like for me personally, I'm going to tell you like some of the things I'm doing. In fact, a lot of the things I'm doing. However, I also believe that everybody's body is different and it will react to things differently. It will answer to things differently. So please don't beat yourself up even after you try some of the things I say and you still end up not getting milk like me. Please don't beat yourself up. God is going to just help us watch these children, make sure that they continue to grow in the wisdom and the stature of the Lord in the name of Jesus. Amen. Having said that, let's jump right into the questions. So the first and most common question I got is, how are you able to have so much milk pumped? I don't know if this refers to what I'm doing to my body or this refers to the kind of machine I'm using, but I'm going to answer both. For the pump I'm using, I'm actually using a double electric pump, and I use same for my daughter, even though they were different brands. And I just believe that it's not really about the brand than about the work that these machines do, really. But go for a double electric pump is what I would say if you want to get the best, like, zipping. If you want to get the best out of your boobs, literally. I remember with my first, I tried a manual pump, and that was just torture for me. Like, I would just be doing like this, my hands would be paining me, and still I wasn't getting that much from the breast. So I dumped it and eventually got a double electric pump, and it worked wonderfully well. This time around I just went ahead and I got another double electric pump, since I already knew that's what was going to work for me. So yeah, make sure that you get the right sizing for your, you know, nipple size. You're going to read the reviews if you go on websites. Just make your research. That is the best way to get the best out of your boobs, really. Then in terms of what I'm doing to my body, to be honest, I'm very big on hydration, and I feel like that is the number one thing that's helping me. I love water. Like, my life is literally drink water and mind your business. I love water so much. Like, it tastes good in my mouth. When I was pregnant, I could only stand cold water, so I went all out. I was taking my cold water, and that still felt good. Now that I've like put to bed, I'm back to taking my normal water. You guys will always see me with my bottle. Like, I drink this in a day or more. I feel like the straw helps. So if you have challenges with drinking water or keeping water down, try the straw. Like, try a bottle with a straw. It just helps to just go into your throat, and before you know it, or before you get bored, you had like a good quantity. So I feel like drinking water is going to be my number one thing I'm going to say to you guys. And I'm not just talking about a sip a day or a sip here and there. I drink water. The recommendation is actually about 2 to 3 liters a day, but guys, I take a whole gallon and more sometimes. So like, even when I'm not eating or my diet is not the best for time, just having water in my system ensures that, you know, my milk can keep coming, because really milk is water, to be honest. That is what they get. Have you ever tasted your milk? Because I have. I did with my first. I've done it severally this time. I mean, if my child can eat it, then I want to know what it tastes like. Anyway, milk is water, so just make sure that you're on top of your water intake. Secondly, for me, I would say a good diet as well. So with my first, I took pap. Apparently pap is also cornbread. I saw that in the comment section of one of my videos. Pap is also very good because it has a lot of like that corn maize thing going on, and those things help in just making sure that your body produces I think the calories. Yes, the calories that it needs. Now if you want to be traditional, from where I come from in Nigeria, they'll say, oh, eat a lot of yam, pap and all of that. Those things are good. However, you also don't want to overdo it just for the excuse of, oh, I'm breastfeeding. The truth is, once your water intake is good and you're getting enough calorie, whether in carbohydrates and proteins and in vegetables, you're good. Then I think that's a good head start. So really, those are the things I'm doing. One more thing though that I must say here is sleep, aka rest. Guys, every time I'm stressed, I can't lie to you, I actually feel my milk supply go out the drain. Like, stress is not your friend, and that's like very funny to say, because I mean, postpartum means stress really. For me, thankfully, I've had help. My dad's around right now, my mom's around, my sister's come around with my husband, you know. So even though it's not like a chilled state of mind, but it's helped me. I can literally say, hold the baby, there's milk in the fridge, I want to sleep for 2 hours during the day, or I get a 4-hour stretch at night because, you know, daddy is on night duty or my mom is watching TV. So it's very important that you rest, take breaks. If you don't have people around, I'm going to recommend sleep when the baby sleeps. I know that is very like unrealistic, but what I would advise is newborns sleep a lot. That's literally their lifestyle. So pick at least one of their sleep cycles to make sure that you also get sleeping. While you're busy doing this and that in the other sleep times, just pick one during the day, take a nap, so that even if you don't get enough rest at night, you're still good on, you know, the state of your mind, the state of your body to be able to produce enough milk for your child. And that was a lot of answer, but I hope it covers a lot of these questions as well. Do you have to take any of the lactation cookies or salts for the flow of milk? No, I haven't with this. With my first, I did try it. A brand sent me a couple of them. I tried it and it didn't make any difference for me. I feel like I already had my milk supply established, so by the time I added the lactation cookies, it didn't do much for me. And that's just on the honest and personal point of view. But maybe if your milk supply is not coming in as much, then you want to also try it, because like I said, these people know the dietary combination that you need to ensure that you get enough calorie in breast milk, right? How are you able to pump so much? The breast pump is usually too slow for me and tiring. Okay, so I've said that my breast pump, again, let me say it here, I usually pump for like 20 to 30 minutes depending on how engorged I feel at, you know, a particular pumping session. Somebody says, how much for your breast milk? Can we put it on the shelf for sale? Wow, Moyo, wow, this is my friend. You're so ridiculous, Moyo. Anyway, does breast milk not go bad? I saw that you had milk from December. Will you give the baby? See guys, all this information is on Google. It's not like I just grew into this position of motherhood. I pride myself in being a researcher. When we go to my family doctor, sometimes my husband will say, oh, she knows that, oh, she's a researcher. Trust Tolu to already, you know, I've researched all of this. I feel like anything you want to know, you get an idea from Google, even before you go to like a professional. Anyway, to answer your question, breast milk can last up to 6 months to 12 months in the deep freezer. 6 months is like ideal, but it can actually last up to 12 months in a deep freezer. It can last up to 3 months in like a shared freezer, like all this fridge freezer kind of setting. And in the fridge, it can last up to 3 days. So really, it does go bad eventually, but there are timelines before it can go bad, right? Are you doing a breast exclusive plan, ma? I guess that means exclusive breastfeeding, and yes I am. I mean, why would I when I have so much milk? So someone says, I like this one. It says, is it safe to pump and keep in the fridge, especially in a country where light is an issue? So that's a good thing. I'm originally from Nigeria. I live in Canada, and electricity is not an issue right now. When I had my first, electricity is an issue in Nigeria, so I did have a deep freezer where I put it. But that's the good thing with where I was living back then too, was we had a standby generator. So if electricity would trip off, you know, we had a standby generator that would come on and power it. In the instances that the generator wasn't working, we had inverter in my house personally, and the freezer I was using for breast milk was also connected to the inverter. So electricity is very important. If you don't have regular access to electricity, then I don't think it's a good idea to store milk for that long, because it's going to go bad. It's just going to go bad. What do I do when my breast milk isn't flowing again after a while of nursing and there is no stored milk? Give that baby some formula. That is what you need to do while you try to establish your breast milk again. Please keep your baby fed. And I will say that some of the things that can contribute to maybe regressive breast milk supply would be maybe stress. You probably got stressed along the way, or in my experience, there was a time I had a cold and I used some like concussion, ginger, lemon, and that actually reduced my breast milk supply. And I've researched and I saw that some cold or allergy drugs actually can make your breast milk supply dwindle. So if that's the case, then you can just stop whatever you're doing that is reducing the milk supply, and then go back to making sure that you're being well hydrated and putting your baby to breast as much as possible. So another way you can use to restore your breast milk supply is make sure that you're putting your baby to breast. Even if you're giving the baby formula, once you know that the baby is fed, then you put the baby to breast again, maybe instead of a pacifier, to comfort the child. So the baby is not eating to really get full, but just the fact that the baby is sucking can actually restore your breast milk supply. So you can do that. But in the interim, while you know that there is actually no letdown or no milk, please and please give that baby some formula. Thank you. Do you have a pumping schedule? Yes, I do. So for me, I pump once or twice a day, and the routine is this for me personally. Once I wake up, I'm really engorged. Like I said, if you get a lot of rest, then your milk will come in. So once I wake up, I'm really engorged. The next thing my brain is telling me is to pump, because I know that there is no way my child can finish all of this food. So if my baby is awake at the time I wake up, if baby wakes me up, then I put the baby to breast, hold the pain on one breast, and just go ahead. Now this is a good place if you have the hacker pump. This is a pump that it takes milk from the other breast while you're nursing on this breast, so you can use that. I tried it, it was painful for me. I didn't like it. I feel like the hacker is just overrated, but anyway, this is a good place where you can do that, because I've seen it work for a lot of people as well. So you can put it on one breast while the child nurses on the other, so that you don't waste all that milk. Because the truth is, days that I wake up engorged and I put over here to breast, the other breast has a lot of let down, a lot of wastage. My breast pad is always so full and soaked, and that's a lot of milk that is wasted. So if you like to keep that milk from wasting, then, but I don't mind, because I have so much milk anyway. But if my baby is awake, that's what I do. So once he's fed, I change his diaper, and then I go get my pump and I pump out the rest. Like I said, it cannot finish it. The boobs are always too engorged after I sleep. So that's usually my only pump for the day on most days. Then what I do is, once I pump, I fill one bottle and I put it outside. Now breast milk can stay on the tabletop for up to 6 hours. 4 to 6 hours actually, especially if it is pumped in pristine and clean condition. And for me, I sterilize all my equipment and everything after every use. So you can put that breast milk for the next feed on the tabletop, and that's what I do. Then I store away the rest in the fridge or freezer. Now on days when I wake up before my baby, I just run to my pump immediately. I pump, and again I already have a bottle against when he wakes up, and then I store away the rest. So that's usually what I do. That's my schedule. Now some days I've had to pump twice in a day, later in the night, maybe after his last feed. Now this would happen if I took a nap, or I ate too much on that day, or sometimes if I've had a busy day just like today, and maybe for some reason I'm not able to put him to breast during the day. Maybe if I miss 1 or 2 feeds, during the day, then I'll definitely pump at night as well. Some days I just feel engorged in the night before I sleep. I don't want to go to bed with that heaviness, knowing that even if I sleep, it's going to even increase. I pump before I go to bed, and then I usually also like to give him a bottle as his last meal of the night. That way I know that he's well fed before he sleeps, and then he can like sleep for a good stretch. So yeah, I pump once or twice a day depending on how it goes. Now let me say that with my first, I know that there's some people who pump exclusively, and I had to do that with my first from 4 months. She stopped taking the breast, and I had to start giving her from the bottle only, and I was on a pumping schedule. So for then, the thing is, if you want your milk supply to be maintained, you are advised to pump as if the baby is eating, right? I didn't do that, to be honest. It wasn't realistic for me to actually be pumping every 2 to 3 hours when, you know, baby is expected to feed. By the time she was 4 months, actually, it was maybe every 3 to 4 hours, but still, it still wasn't realistic, especially when I went back to work. So what I would do is just like wait every 4 to 5 hours. So in a day, I could pump like 4 or 5 times, as against, you know, baby would have fed for 8 times, but I could pump like 4 times actually. Realistically, when I was exclusively pumping, that's what I would do. I would pump 4 times. I know my first pump will be before I went to work in the morning. The second will be around 2 p.m. The third will be around 5 p.m. when I go back from work, and then the last will be around 11 before I went to bed. So yeah, if you're exclusively pumping, then you should do that. Otherwise, if you're putting baby to breast for the better part of the day, then there's absolutely no need to pump more than once or twice in a day, really. Someone says, how do you thaw frozen milk? This is actually very easy. Same way you would thaw anything you've put in the freezer. Ideally, you're supposed to bring it out, put it in the fridge. If you can hear coos and cars, my Tovia is right here. You're supposed to put it in the fridge and then leave it overnight, so the next morning it's gone from a frozen state to a liquid state. Then pour it in the bottle, then put it in the bottle warmer or hot water. However, sometimes you need it instantly. What you do is bring it out, put it in a cup of like room temperature water. Try to avoid hot water. Put it in room temperature water, leave it for like, you know, 1 hour. Then you can put it same in the bottle, then like bottle warmer. But if it's urgent, sometimes then you can just bring it from the freezer, put it in hot water, leave it for like 5-10 minutes. Once, like, you won't let it get hot in the nylon, right? Once you see that you're stored, then you put it in the bottle. But whatever you do, always make sure that you put it in the bottle first. In a cold state, then put the bottle in a bottle warmer or hot water. That's how to thaw frozen breast milk. Okay, at this point, I might actually have to make this video into 2 parts. So let me end this by saying, watch the next part of this video if you still have more questions unanswered here. If you're like an experienced mama and you're also a milk machine, or you were a milk machine like me, please feel free to put your tips and trick, also maybe dietary options that people can take and stuff like that in the comment section, so that the whole community can be blessed with milk. But that's it. I hope that this video blesses somebody. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're not, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Ready, steady, action! Exclusively. See who is smiling. You have eaten very well. You're smiling.